Hello and welcome back to Butchers That Model. Space Marines. Space Marines, so easy to do. One of the easiest things to paint, Warhammer things. They look complex, they're not. All right. And they actually cool. We do like Space Marines. Are you going to focus on his face? Really easy to do. What I've done is take one off the sprue already. And I've cleaned him up, sanded down all the nubs. And I've also, really important thing to do, drilled out the barrel. Just use a pin vise, just drill the barrel out. Just be careful though, because it is quite delicate. Especially if you do what I do, I like to drill to the side as well. So it's all drilled out. You'll be really careful because it's very, very flimsy. So, how do we do it? First thing we're going to do is, I always undercut Space Marine, my Ultramarines in black. And then we'll put a layer down, base coat of my Crag Blue. I'm also going to show you a neat little trick. Sometimes you'll get things like handheld sensors. And also, I like to use the same technique on the eyes of the helmeted ones. Didn't get one down with a helmet. Right, so what I'll do, I'll pause this and I'll get onto the undercoating, and then we'll get onto base coating when the undercoat's dried. So I'll see you in a minute, in a second. Time machine. Time machine. Right, it's undercoated black. Oh, blimey. Now then, you may be asking, Dave, why haven't you put them together? I always like to paint Space Marines, especially these new Primaris Space Marines, separately in the sub-assemblies, or just not even sub-assemblies, just as they are, because a lot of Space Marines, you'll have the arm with the weapon that comes across the body. It's really awkward to paint behind there. Really awkward. It's really awkward to paint behind the backpacks to do like belts and grenades and things like that. A lot of them have. And the beauty with these new Primaris Space Marines is there is no seam lines. The way they're designed, they are perfect. The legs are all one unit, so you've got no seam line. Once you've done the mold line, it's done. The back fits on. It's push fit. The only possible join line you'll have is on his waist, and it's millimeters. It's indistinct. Once it's on the tabletop, you won't see it. It's also easier to paint the trim. Whatever chapter you're doing, whatever company it is, they've all got different colour trims. Okay, I just use Ultramarines and just the gold. All of mine have got the gold on the shoulder, but I just like them. It's the way it is. We're all different. We all like different things. It's also easier if you've got a head that isn't a helmet. It's easier to paint separate and then connect it. You haven't got gluing issues. No, it's alright. If you painted a normal model kit and then tried to put it together with Tamiya extra thin, it will affect the paint. You don't need to glue the new Space Marines. You don't need to glue the new Age of Sigmar stuff. You don't need to glue it. It's all push fit. So you can paint everything now as sub-assemblies, and it's a lot neater. I'll defy anybody to put one together and then paint it and then show me the Aquila on the chest. It won't be perfect because you cannot physically get in there. Doing it this way, you can get into every part. Right? Depends how good you want your model to be at the end, your figure to be at the end. Right? It's just far simpler doing it this way. The Anoraks might not like it. The Anoraks will hate me later on because I don't use solely Citadel paints. And I'll show you one of the techniques I use that's got nothing to do with Citadel paints in a minute. I also use Set and Sol on my decals. I still, to this day, do not know why Games Workshop haven't got in partnership with Microset and Microsol. and branded it with their own stuff and put it in the shops, or even Mr. Hobby set and softer. It's beyond me why they don't have setting solutions for decals, because putting a decal on the Space Marine shoulder pad without set and sole is an absolute nightmare. So Games Workshop, if you ever watch this, invest in some set and sole, get in touch with somebody, come up with some sort of deal. It'll sell. Trust me, it'll sell. It's good stuff. Right then, so what I'm going to do now, we'll get the black rag blue down. I'll paint all this, and then we'll come back, we'll get them together, and I'll show you some cool techniques on how to make things look like the screen and things like that. His eyes, how to make it look absolutely amazing and dead simple. Right, so I'll see you in a second, because time machine. Right, he's now had 2 thin coats of McCrag glue. Now the next thing we'll do is I'm going to dry brush. Now if you're just starting off, you won't have some of the paints I've got. You want to use Calgar blue. Now I've got the old equivalent, which was called Lightning Bolt blue. This is how long he sit those paints for last year. Calgar blue. So what we're going to do, standard dry brushing technique. I'm going to use, let's get a little bit of cloth, bit of kitchen roll, bit of toilet roll. Your dad's old t-shirt. No, don't use dad's old t-shirt. Right, we're going to load the brush, tiny bit of on the paint, on the brush, work it into the bristles, and I'm using the wrong brush. Scrap that, don't use that brush. Dave's an idiot. Don't be like Dave, Dave's an idiot. My base brush, not my dry brush. Right, scrap my dry brush. Load up the paint, work it into the bristles, and then work off the excess, soak up the moisture, and then gently go over the high points. Okay, nice, gentle, just flick your brush, flick it over all the high points. Now you could, there is another technique called edge highlighting, and I'll show you that in a minute. We'll do a tiny bit of edge highlighting just to show you what it is. Edge highlighting takes a lot longer, it's a slower technique, but it does give a better result. But for a standard tabletop playing piece, if you've got 40 or 50 of these things to paint, if you was to edge highlight every single one, it would take you weeks. Whereas dry brushing takes minutes. And for a standard tabletop playing piece that you're not going into a competition, a painting competition, and you're just getting down the paint down on it to get it on the table to play with your mates, dry brushing is perfectly fine. Right, so you don't want to sit here watching me dry brushing, do you? So we'll give it another pause, and I'll carry on, do all the rest of this dry brushing, and then what I'll do is I'll touch up all the black, like this holster, the bolter, the belts, the packs. Alright, we'll do those with Abaddon black, and then we'll put them all together, and then, no we won't, we'll do the gold, and then we'll put them back together, and put them all together, and then we'll work on things like his eyes, his handheld device and things like that. We'll do all the little details. We'll get the base colours down, we'll undercoat him, we'll give him a wash of liquid talent, which is normal. We'll do the gold, and then we'll assemble them all together, and it will takes about 30 minutes from start to finish to paint a Space Marine to a decent standard. You could do it in 10 minutes. Get your McCrag glue, build him, get your McCrag glue down, dry brush him, paint his weapon, boom, he's on the table. But I'd just like to go to that little stage further. So we'll pause this, I'll get on with the dry brushing, and I'll see you in a minute. Time machine, now it's dry. All the dry brushing's done, and I've touched up all the black. Now it's so much easier when you're doing it like this to get into all these bits, the black understroke parts. So much easier, seriously, than putting it together. In the old days, the old Mark 3s and Mark 5 Space Marines, we didn't have a choice because everything was separate, the body, the legs, the arms, and you had to glue them together. With these new Primaris ones, they just push it together. You don't necessarily need to glue them. If I do glue them, you just glue them on the inside parts where they connect together. So much easier. And so much nicer being able to get into every single part. You'll notice that if you look at some of the older Space Marines, where we didn't have a choice, we had to paint them complete and built. You couldn't get in to get the Aquila painted on his chest. You couldn't get to do a lot of the detail underneath. They were just a nightmare. But now, build it in each separate assembly. It doesn't matter because they just push for it. Just makes it so much easier. I don't know why people don't do it like this. Well, some do. A lot of them don't. Right. The next thing to do is now all the black spray, unlike the Aquila, we're going to paint the gold bits. Now the easiest way to do the gold bits, especially on the shoulders, instead of trying to go like this and paint down in a straight line, it's so much easier. And angle your piece. Whoever said you have to just sit there and have it the right orientation, put it whichever way you want. But it's so much easier to paint a straight line down than it is to start going at 90 degrees to things, because your hand will naturally go straight down. You're not twisting your wrist, you're not bending anything. It's just so much better just doing things straight down. When you get to the top of it, obviously you can't, but painting a straight line is so much easier. Oh, I did it off camera, didn't I? It's so much easier. That focus is if you're going down the straight down. All right, so that way, boom. Instead of trying to go across at different angles when you brush along the edge. The only bit you can't do it is right at the very top. Just be as neat as you can. And if you go over, it doesn't matter, because just touch it back up with a tiny bit of blue. Okay. You'll get a nice straight line doing it that way. Let's do the other one. So start at the top, this is straight down, and you'll get a perfectly nice, neat, straight guard line every time. Move the piece you're working on. Hold it upside down if you want, it doesn't matter. Nobody says you have to paint it one way, facing one way. Turn it upside down, get in there. Make life easier for yourself. The amount of people I've seen down at Games Workshop who are painting, and they'll have it in the paint, and they're rigid, they're like that, and everything is like, turn it upside down, get in there. Make life easier for yourself. Right, the other thing we've got to paint gold is the Aquila, the eagle's wings on his chest. And what we'll do, put my visor of seeing down, a bit too much on there, and you paint, twist your brush, pull back, that's better. Just over the top of it, nice and gently. It's a really nice refined detail, and if we just catch it lightly on the raised bits, a bit like a dry brushing technique but with a very wet paint, you'll still leave some of the black, and you want that, you want the shadow in there. You see how easy that was to paint. So we'll leave that to dry for a bit, and then we'll start using our liquid talent. And the liquid talent we're going to use on our Space Marine is we're going to use Reikland Fresh Shade for the gold and Nuln Oil for the armour. Our liquid talent. So we'll leave that to dry. We'll be back in a minute, and then we'll do the liquid talent. We'll do little touch-ups that we need to. We'll do some edge highlighting. I'll show you how edge highlight, and we'll use some Lothern blue, some really pale blue, and we'll just do some very, very sharp edges just to make them pop a little bit after we've done our washing and that's dried. And then we'll get on to doing the screen and his eyes. Really simple, really effective technique we're going to do using somebody else's paints, not Games Workshop's. So we'll see you in a minute, because time machine. Right, the gold bit's now dry. So what we're going to do now is, I've touched up a couple of little things. On his belt he's got a grenade. All I've done is just painted that green, little tiny things. And his purity seal, what I've done is I've undercoated that with pallid witch flesh. Odd words, speak properly. Right, the eyes on the helmet. Right, we're going to use, or I'm going to use, two Tamiya products, XF16, which is flat aluminium, and X27, which is clear red. And what this is for is, normally if you're doing model kits of cars, it's for doing brake lights and things like that. It's fantastic stuff. Right, so what we'll do, give it a bit of a shake. Do it. And we're only going to use a tiny bit, so we can use it out of the dip in the lid. And you want a tiny little brush, like a small layer brush or an artificer brush, and you just want a tiny bit. Draw your bristles to a point, and all you're going to do is fill in the eye socket with the silver. So I'm going to put my visor of many seeings down. I can't actually, is my head in the way? My eyesight's not going to be as good as yours. My old man eyes. So just get in there and just painting where his eye is with the silver. Just a line, alright? You want to leave a black edge around it, okay? The other thing we're going to do as well is, this particular Space Marine's got some sort of handheld monitor in his hand. I'm going to paint the screen on the inside with the same Tamiya aluminium paint. So get in there, give him a paint. I'm probably doing that off camera because I'm an idiot. Remember what I said, don't keep your piece in one position. Nobody hears you have to paint things holding it one way. Turn it round, turn it upside down, put it at an angle. So whatever you can do to make it easier to reach where you want to be. Right, so that's painted now. So I'll put that to one side to dry. The next thing we can do while that's drying is we can get on with some liquid talent or Citadel ink washes. So we'll use our Reikland Fresh Shade, and all we're going to do with this is we're just going to, just a tiny bit, we're just going to paint the eagle on his chest with this. And what this will do is this will run in all the recesses That'll really make it pop. When that's dry, we'll just go over it again and just touch up the very high points. You see how that's gone like that now? Really makes the gold pop. We'll do the same on the shoulders, just a little tiny bit. Just run it down it. It'll really add some definition and some tone to the gold. Makes it really stand out. And what we'll do is we'll then use our Nuln Oil, our next liquid talent, and we'll give the entire miniature, apart from where we paint it with the gold, that we'll do with the Nuln Oil. And out of that, I bought some young Viking and Flesh Head today and forgot. I was nearly out of Nuln Oil. Right, so we'll just, I'm not going to give the entire thing a wash, we're just going to do the joins, the black. Just give it a light coating. Don't go mad, you don't want it all to pool up and run down the bottom. You just want to get it in all the joins and all the crevices. It'll make a huge difference. Get it on a flat panel, just wipe it away with your finger. Around these boots, around the back. And especially where you want it to be dark and shadowy. In there, around his neck bit. And then just be careful when you get around by the gold, where you've already been. You'll notice there's vents at the side of his chest. Run it in there. Just move it away. The beauty of a wash is you can chase it. You can get it wherever you want it to go. Very thin. Get it in all the nooks and crannies. And all it'll do is it'll just accentuate the shadows, the joins, where natural shadows would fall. As long as you don't put it on too thick. Don't let it pool up anywhere. It starts to look a bit silly. You see what I mean now? How it's running to all the joins, his knees and things like that. And then just do the same with all of it. Just run it around and then set it to one side. It takes about 20 minutes for this stuff to dry. 30 minutes. I usually leave it for, just to be on the safe side. So I'll get on with doing this, and then we'll come back when it's all dry, which for you will be half a second. For me it'll be half an hour. I might go and have a cup of tea. It's a time machine. Time machine in. Right. Well, that's the time to dry now. What we can do now the silver's dry, what I've done is on the display I've put some tiny dots of green and a little green line to indicate an arrow. Alright, that's our time to dry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our Tamiya X27. I'll give this a shake earlier, and you want a fine detail brush again. Tiny little bit. And this is quite sticky, this stuff. It's not like a normal paint, it's quite thick and gloopy. What you want to do, make sure your brush is at a point. Your glasses on and your visors and And then where you painted the eye silver, just go in there, dab it in, and when it dries, it looks like a glass lens, a perspex lens it would be on a helmet, and it has a really nice sparkle to it because you painted it over the silver. So I'll leave that to dry now, and then we'll do the same thing. A little bit of paint on that. Oh, there's my visor dropping down again. That's the clicking of my visor in my glasses. Right, so then we'll get in and just fill in where the lens would be on his screen. If we do it quite thinly, you'll still see the green underneath. Pick some up off me. Off my wet palette. What the heck is that? Let's get in there with it. Squidge it in there. As long as you do it quite thin, it'll still look like a lens. When it dries, you should be able to see the marks underneath. Put it on one side then. Now you'll need some sort of brush cleaner or Tamiya X28 thinner to clean your brush when you've used clear. Using ordinary water won't work. I don't know what this stuff's made of. Probably spent uranium rods, but it doesn't come out with water. So you're going to have to use X28 thinner or some isopropyl alcohol. Or if you do what I do and make your own brush cleaner that has IPA in it, it does clean it a treat. Right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to start doing all the silver bits, the gunmetal bits, like the bits of his rifle you want to paint, any bits of trim on the backpack. I like to do the butt of his pistol that's in his holster. Just touch it all up with silver or gunmetal, depends what you want to use. Let's use a little of the pot because I'm not doing a lot. Only a bit. You're painting. Rotate and pull your brush back so you've got your point on your brush, and then you can go in. You can start painting all little tiny silver details. I like to do the back of this. Got the shakes there. Oh, my wife's on the phone downstairs on FaceTime with my grandson. Just hear them both giggling. Paint them little silver bits, the vents, if that's what they are. I like to paint them as well. There's some sort of vent. I don't know what this backpack contains. Who knows? It's a Space Marine. The back of it. Now, if you built this, put it on, this will be a nightmare to try and do. But like this, it's very easy to paint because nothing's in the way. And that's the beauty of these new Primaris Space Marines. You can build them totally in bits and then put them together right at the very end. The purists are probably going with a heretic. Heresy. In the old days it would have been. It would have been a heresy to try and paint a Space Marine like this. But now, it's so easy to do now. The other thing I like to do as well, on his arm, he's got two little like buttons to me. Just give it a bit of extra detail. Just Pop a bit of silver on them, a bit of gold metal on them. And if you're feeling really posh, you can use other colours of Tamiya clears. Paint one red and one green one and a blue one. Right, so what else can I make? Let's do the barrel. Now, there's lots of different ways of doing the guns, and I sort of do them all different. Because the way I'm thinking about it, some Space Marines might paint the bodies of their guns. So we'll do that bit there silver, inside there. We'll do the sights silver. On this particular one. We'll do the back section silver. 2 buttons there. And then that looks like that's the bolt, so we'll do that silver. And then what else should we do? Flip him over. And this are the sights. All in here. It's entirely up to you what bits of this you paint. What you want to leave black. You could even paint it all blue. The body of it. And the metal bits. So we'll do that like that, and then we'll clear my brush. And if you notice, oh, there's my visor again. I'm going to tighten that up. There's an Aquila on the side of this rifle as well, so we'll do that in gold. Where I'll put it. So many paints, you can believe how many paints I've got here. Once you start building different armies, you'll amass a huge amount of Games Workshop paints. Right in front of my eyes. My blind old man eyes. Why didn't you tell me it was there? Just said, here, Dave, you idiot, it's there. By your right hand. Actually, there was some still on the wet palette that was still more than workable. Right, so just use the edge of the brush, as it's a very pronounced raised detail. Just run the edge of your brush along it. Just like that. And there isn't one on the other side, it's just on this side. Alright, I'll leave that to dry. Push the gold off. Tighten up my visor. Stop it falling down. Right. Another detail we can do now is each Space Marine will have a thing called a purity seal. So what we'll do is we'll use what's grey. There we go. We'll use Demon at Height to do the actual seal bit, which is a bit of wax. I don't think the Emperor actually personally stamps them on, but he probably has a letter saying from the Emperor PP and some squiggly signature from the Emperor's secretary. So we'll just paint that. Just that little circle, that little disc of wax. And once that's dry, we'll put some liquid talent on there in the form of Grinchy Violet. Wash and brush off, and then we'll use, for the actual paper bit of the seal, what we'll do is we'll give it a base coat of Zandri dust, and then when that's dry, we'll give it a highlighting of Ushabti Bound. That's it. And we'll use Zandri dust first, and then we'll give it a wash of Reikland Flesh Shade, and then we'll give it a highlight. for you Shabbity Bone. We do have some wonderful names for the paints at the Games Workshop. Citadel paint colours, fantastically named. Yes, I'm naughty. I know I'm not using my wet palette. I'm just using it because I need a tiny bit. Using it straight out the lid. Now these the newer pots that Games Workshop do are designed to do that. They're designed to hold a tiny bit of paint in the lid. If I was doing this for a commission build or God knows for whatever reason I'd want to do Space Marine for a competition, I would put it in a wet palette and watered it down a little bit and send it out and 2 thin coats, but it's not. It's just it's going to be a plain piece on the table. So we'll leave that to dry. We'll give that 5 minutes, and then we'll highlight that with wash that with Reikland Flesh Shade, highlight with Shabbity Bone, and then I reckon forgot to do the silver on that, the gunmetal bits on that, and then I reckon once it's properly dry, we can put him all together and see what he looks like. And then we'll do some bits of touch up, a bit of edge highlighting where we think it needs it. And then we'll call him done. And he's perfect for the table. He won't win any competitions for painting, but he's of a slightly better standard than the average tabletop mini, playing piece. There's a skull on his holster for his pistol. I like to paint that in silver. Don't know why, don't ask me why, I just do. I just like that silver. Just gives it a little tiny bit of character. And the other thing on his holster as well is there's a press stud sort of button. Just give that a tiny little dot. And it just gives it that little something else, Just going that extra mile, not going mad. No. It just makes a huge difference. Attention to detail. Right, so I'll pause this for a little bit. We'll leave it all to dry. We'll put him together and see what it looks like. Because we can do that, time machine. Alright, he's all back, he's all together. Don't be like Dave. Dave's an idiot. It helps if you take the right back off the sprue and paint that. I actually painted the wrong back. So there he is built. All that's left to do now is to do a bit of a highlight on his purity seal and to put the decals on. So we'll give him a tiny bit of an edge highlighting on his purity seal, just a tiny little bit. Bit of paint on my brush, a wet palette. And then twist and pull back, get your bristles to a point, and just edge highlight just his purity seal. And so we did it with Zandri Dust, and then gave it a bit of a wash with Reikland Flesh Shade. There we go. Leave that like that, and then all that's left to do now is the decals. Now the secret to doing decals on the Ultramarine is on his right shoulder pad he has the Ultramarine symbol, which is a big circle basically. What you want to do is you want to get your blade in the middle bit and then cut through at the top, cut through the gap. There's a gap at the top of the symbol. It's like that sort of shape, like that sort of shape with a line at the top, cut through the centre of it, right, where there's no, and what that'll do is it'll help it to conform around the shoulder pad, because you're going to try and get it around that circumference. Okay, real pain. A real pain if you don't do that. So we'll do a bit of microset. We use our, oh, this stuff stinks like vinegar. This stuff. Oh. A bit on there. I'm going to leave that for about 30 seconds to activate. I'll put a bit on his shoulder. I should brush off. Need to be tweezers. I need to clean these tweezers. Right, that's moving. I'll get it onto his shoulder. And then move it about until we get it where we want it, which is about just about there. And that should be, when that dries, that should, we've been using the microsol, microset and microsol. We'll use microset later, microsol sorry later. That will bed down perfectly and conform to the contours of his shoulder pad. His tactical squad down on his right shoulder. And what we'll do, a microsol. I should brush off them, not contaminating one with the other. And just give it a dab, and what that will do is it sort of melts the decal and gets it to sit down perfectly onto the contours. And there we go. One finished ultramarine with his eyes painted properly. So what we'll do is we'll leave that to set, the decals, and then I'll get the light box out and we'll take some pictures and you'll see it right now. Right, there we go. One Space Marine. All that's left to do is to base him in the same way that you're going to base the rest of your army, whether you're going to use a flock or a texture base, you know, something like the old Agrellan Earth, you know, wherever you're going to paint, do the rest of your bases, do your army in all the same way. Now I use grit for mine. It's like a white. These ones aren't. These are the blind box ones. They've got bases with designs on. But the rest of my army, I've done in grit because I think the white and the grey with the grit makes the blue really pop. But that's just my personal choice. Do it however you want. So, what we're going to paint next. Now, Space Marines are easy to paint. The next thing we're going to paint is even easier and just as much fun. So, I'll see you in the next episode when we're going to paint the easiest miniature that Games Workshop Warhammer produces. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun. Don't forget, ignore the rivet counters. Paint it exactly how you want to, because you paid for it and it's your Space Marine.